Greatness at track number 9. Stay on the right track and let your light shine. Step by step, reach for what's true. Track number 9, your greatness is waiting for you.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to track number 9. Good morning, Sister Cheryl Ward from the other coast, the West Coast. Thank you for being here. Our good sister, Dr. Carmen Johnson, running Court Watch, National Court Watch. My cousin Gregory. I love you, cousin. Thank you for tuning in. Um, hey, my man Johnny Jones from First Monday's Empowerment. Thank you for joining us, man. The first thing I want to say is, Sister Roxanne Prettyman, good morning. Wear a mask when you go outside. It's really important. I walked my dogs this morning, and man, I was like, dang, I forgot my mask, and I could feel the difference because I had bronchitis and different things in the atmosphere and environment. I feel that in my lungs, and it affects my breathing and everything, probably more than other people. But I tell you, that fire that is raging in Canada, man, that's just an example that something can happen. Good morning, Sister Gwen. Good morning. Something could happen all the way in Canada, which is a part of North America. Good morning, Brother Robert Winslow, Rognell Heights in the house. But hey, Charmaine Qualls is here too. Good morning. But it's just an example of how one incident can affect the entire country. Now, can you imagine if that was some type of poison that was in the air? Man, all of us would be dead because this daggone smoke, it smells like it's a fire right here in Baltimore City. And this stuff happened in Canada. But this doggone smoke and soot and all that stuff has traveled all the way from Canada to New York to Connecticut, Buffalo, Rhode Island. It is gone as far as the Midwest. This stuff is traveling. The air is taking it. Good morning. My little cousin Akaya is here. She's such a beautiful young lady. Good morning. Sister Denise, our chaplain, is here. Good morning. But imagine if that had been something that was deemed to be poisonous, that you can't breathe it in. I don't know what in the world we would have done if that was some kind of a nuclear reactor had went off. That stuff would just travel, and me and my little dogs would have been laid out on that daggone grass out there. But anyway, to God be the glory. And those sorts of things to me are just wake up calls to what we need to do to help save this planet and save our children. My cousin Akaya has 2 beautiful babies. And I know, hey, Danielle Hinton, good morning. And I know she want a bright future for her children, as do I, for her and her children. So when we're thinking about that, think about this planet, think about global warming, think about recycling, and think about how we can do better because the summers are getting hotter. Our elders are in these hot houses without adequate air. The daggone BG&E so high you don't even want to turn. I was going to use another one of them choice words. I was going to say you don't want to turn SHIT on. You don't want to turn nothing on because the BG&E is so high. Should we work to get community solar so that our bills can go down? Should we work to make sure that we can get solar panels on our rooftops, like some of those more middle class communities? You'll see a lot of solar in those communities, but that's a subject for a different day. I just want everybody to just please wear yourself a mask. Good morning, Sister Sarah. Sister Sarah Matthews in the house, y'all. Yes, indeed. She say we love you in the community, but God loves you. Oh, amen. That's indeed. I appreciate that. I really do. But anyway, guys, the other thing I want to mention before we go on is how much we have to start appreciating our young people because we have young people that are always accused of doing this, accused of doing that. Some of them are off the damn chain. I ain't even gonna lie about that, and I'm not gonna take up for a juvenile that's going to attack a 74-year-old man, an incident that just happened in front of 7-Eleven. And it was about five of them. They had a shotgun pulled on the man and everything. But to my knowledge, they messed with the wrong elder because he belongs to the UNIA community. And, the Garvites and everything, they stick together and they definitely look after their their elders. So they done mess with the wrong one, whoever them little boys are. Yeah, they mess with the wrong elder. But again, I'm not going to make excuses for our young people, but I will say that when they are doing well, we need to acknowledge them. We need to good morning. That's my other auntie, Miss Gwen, worked with at Recreation Park. She always called me Senator Jacket. So if you hear somebody say, "Hey, Senator Jacket," that's me, guys. Hey, the Brothers Osborne veteran Black Panther. Ain't that something? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Victory Swift. Amen. Yeah, that was crazy, Charmaine, for them to attack a 74-year-old man going into 7-Eleven like that. But like I said, that is one of the Babas from the UNIA community, one of the Garvites and whatnot. So yeah, they done mess with the wrong one. But I was saying that when our young people do positive things, we need to uplift them and shine a light on them because their peers will see that. Even the children, not only will other adults acknowledge them, give them a hand up and say, "Good job, young man," but oh wow, she said the brother is actually a member of the veteran Black Panther Party. Oh man, that's even more disturbing. The gentleman that I mentioned that was attacked. Thank you, sister. I appreciate that information, man. That's crazy. That's why we got to get our community back, man. We can't allow anybody to destroy our community, and that is inside or outside of our community. If you inside the community and you destroying our community, we got to deal with you. Period. But yeah, I want to acknowledge our engineer today. Today, Karan is our engineer, and he's doing this all by himself today. Because what you guys don't see is in the background, it's people who are pushing buttons and making sure that there's clarity with my camera when we have guests on to make sure that our guests we can hear them, make sure everybody's mic is working and everything. And this young man, he is excellent at what he do. But not only that, he's an excellent racquetball player. He's a part of Brother Leon Thomas has a group and it's free for young people that want to learn how to play racquetball revival. There it is right there. So if you know any young children, you want to keep them on the right path, as we say, keep them on the right track, as my grandmother always told me, because I was a piece of work, but I showed off terrible. That's all I ever heard. You need to get on the right track. You need to get on the right track. I was on the wrong track for a long damn time. Running up and down Calhoun Street, Riggs Avenue, Lawrence Street, Pennsylvania Avenue. Boy, I was a piece of work. Oh, thank you, Sister Bimbo. Thank you. Patrice Bimbo is here. She's congratulating me on my re-election to the Democratic State Central Committee. Thank you so much. But yeah, I was saying that Brother Karan, he's staying out of trouble. He's doing what he's supposed to do, and even though he's really modest about his racquetball skills, the brother is excellent. He is excellent, and you don't see a lot of young, African American children in that profession. To be a professional racquetball player is something that's different for our children. So I really wanted to acknowledge our brother. I don't know if he want to come on screen. He's so shy. He's so shy. There he go. There he goes. That is our brother Karan, man. Look at that smile.
Hey, Monica.
Oh man, he's such a good kid, man, and doing the right thing and staying on the right track. In fact, let me see. They're back on the court on Monday, the July 27th. The brother Leon tells me that he's so humble, but he's one of the best players in the state. last fall he participated in a tournament with professionals. With professionals. So we are looking forward to your success. And oh wow, there you go right there. I think what's his name? Bill Hartman from CBS. Was you interviewed by them? Oh, there you
Yeah,
go, right
well,
there.
we talked before like they started recording and stuff. We were just talking,
Okay,
setting up.
okay. So he met with Bill Hartman and whatnot. So we are just expecting really great things from our brother. That's our Dr. Z. I don't know if you guys haven't if you Google Dr. Z, he himself was on CBS, and we're all in one happy clan together. Dr. Z was on CBS itself. Zolokov, Dr. Zolokov. Google it. Check it out. There go my man. There you go.
Person I'm
Watching.
sitting next to is also a person that coached me. Like him, his name is Keyshawn, and the person on the end at the right, his name is Maze. That's another person I played against that I learned a lot from.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Well, we definitely appreciate you and being able to highlight you and to share with some folks what our beautiful young brother is doing. It's just it just bring me to tears, man, because there's so many our young people out here that's in a bad way. And so much is going on with them, and we're just trying to keep them on the right track, like track number 9. That's our objective, to keep them on the right track. So thank you, sir. I appreciate you. We're going to move forward with our, and this is a topic that we probably, oh wow, LaFay Allen is here. That's enough. That's my cousin LaFay. My family be showing up for me. I love y'all. Thank you so much for the support. But I want to get to the subject today, the topic of the day. I'm sure everybody has heard of Project 2025. And in case you haven't, I'm going to read it to you real. Hi, Karan. Nakaya Hammond says, "Congratulations, Karan. Project 25 is a 900-page policy agenda and transition blueprint created by the Heritage Foundation and former administration officials. It aims to fundamentally restructure the executive branch and replace nonpartisan federal employees with political loyalists to swiftly implement a conservative government. The core goals: expanding executive powers, place independent agencies like the Justice Department and FBI under direct presidential control. And as we can see, these entities, like the Department of Justice, was never intended to work for a specific government. Sister Cheryl says, just add a note about how far the smoke has gone. One of our safe members was supposed to have an event yesterday in Madison, Wisconsin, and they had to take it inside because of the smoke. That is crazy. The smoke came all the way from Canada. Oh, Wake Up Baltimore is here. Good morning, Dr. Z. All the way from Canada, Wisconsin. Wear your mask when you go outside. Wear your mask. But back to Project 2025. The core goals are expanding executive powers, and we've already seen that with the Department of Justice. The department, and they started under William Barr with Trump's first administration when he started going after different people. The Department of Justice is not supposed to be for this particular governor or government. It is independent of the president, but we can see that that's not the case. He has taken the Department of Justice and have just turned them loose on the daggone people. And right now, the Department of Justice had investigated Comey. Comey was the special investigator in the Trump administration, and all he did was write something in the sand with seashells, and I forget what it was. And they claimed that he was threatening the president. They had arrested him and investigated him. Of course, it turned out to be nothing, because a lot of times they are really concerned with making people fearful, to talk out against them, to make people afraid that I could be next, so I'm not going to say anything. The other goal is reorganizing the civil service, reclassifies thousands of career federal workers as political appointees so they can be easily replaced. So, what has happened is at the head of many of these agencies, the leadership was African American. And what the Project 2025 did, and this administration did, was they reclassified those positions so they could fire everybody. All of the African American leadership in the federal government, they have fired them all. And they will replace them with people who are loyal to Donald Trump. So, what that means is if Donald Trump tells the FCC, the Federal Communication Commission, which happened the night before last, I want to come in prime time and I want to tell the American public how our elections are not fair, and China is taking over our elections and all this, that, and the third. And he expects for the FCC commissioner to be able to call CBS, NBC, ABC, those main three stations, and say, I want to interrupt your regularly scheduled program, and I want to talk about our failures with elections and talk about how I actually won the 2020 elections, right? And it was CBS and I think NBC. They didn't put it in their prime time. They kept running their regular shows, but they put it on their streaming networks. That wasn't good enough for him. He wanted prime time. So now he's got the FCC going after those television stations that refuse to air that lie and that foolishness. And he's saying, well, maybe y'all don't deserve to have your license to function. So now he's going after them. And we've watched them. We've watched the billionaires in his circle. They brought up CNN. And when they brought it up, they fired everybody. NBC over here. But over at CNN, they fired Don Lemon. They had the black guy, Lamont. I think his name Lamont Hill. But they just fired everybody, and that's what they're doing. And in countries like Russia, they control the media. The rich people control the media, so they can put out any lies that they want. They can put out any lies that they want. And unfortunately, once you hear a lie for so long, you actually start to believe it. So you have people, Ms. Gwen says, yes, we're asking that instead of police action, let's get the young people who committed this to an order. Okay. Ms. Gwen's talking about the gentleman that was attacked. But what I was saying is that once the people control the media, they control the message. And once you say something for so long, it's just how the human mind operates. I could take any human being that is of sound mind and I can program them to believe that the sky is actually purple instead of blue. I mean, this could be a sound, intelligent person, but after they've heard this message constantly on the radio, on the television, you see billboards, it's everywhere. The strongest and most intelligent mind will start to rationalize and say, well, maybe the sky is purple. You can condition a human being to do anything you want them to do. And they show you that in laboratories with mice and with rats. They had an experiment where the rat would get shocked before he go and get his cheese. So he know in order to get his cheese, he got to go through that painful event. They would shock him, he would go get his cheese. They would shock him, he would go get his cheese. They stopped the shocks, but he still came to that same place expecting to get a shock before he go get his cheese. And that's how people are. You can condition them. They teach you that in sociology and in some, early psychology, like Pavlov's dog, and there was another one. Might have been when you study Sigmund Freud. It's been some years since I've been in college, but you can condition anybody, children, elders, anybody to think and behave in a certain way. And that's what's happening with the misinformation. And that's what's happening under Project 2025. They have a 900-page rollout, and they might be shit. They damn near probably in the middle or close to the end. Everything that they said that was listed in there, and you can actually go to the Heritage Foundation. I actually have a copy of it, and you can get a copy of it yourself. It's out there in the public. You can actually get a copy of Project 2025 and turn the pages, and you can see for yourself exactly where they are with this thing. They've already come in. They had that dope fiend come in. What's his name? Elon Musk. I will say some things that I don't know. Shit, the FCC might come after us. We might not build the damn air. But one thing for certain, two things for sure. I'm empowered by our Lord and Savior, and He will protect me and lead me and guide me. And I'm not always perfect, so I will. I curse sometimes. I still drink a little nip every once in a while. I'm human, but I am trying my absolute best to be a good person. So that's that. But Elon Musk came in and he took away so many functions that we need on the local level. And one of the things I want before we leave here today, one of the things I want us to do is just have a little bit of understanding to the best of my ability how these things actually affect us on the local level. Most people get involved when it's time to vote for a president or sometimes a governor, not realizing they say that all politics are local. So whatever happens on the federal government is going to affect you right here in Baltimore City. Prime example. Hey, Maryland Peer Advisory here. Hi, Tiffany. Good morning. Prime example is food stamps. Now that the policies have been changed for people who are eligible for food stamps, it deeply affects people right here in Baltimore. I believe it's 3 things that have to be going on in order for you to be eligible for food stamps. You have to be in a training program. You have to be working. And of course, you can't make but so much money before you receive anything. Or you can actually be in drug treatment or transitional housing and stuff like that. And when you get it, they only give it to you for 3 months. So when people come home from incarceration, they can get it for 90 days. And then they have to reapply. But in those 90 days, they better be in a training program, or they better be in some type of transitional or something like that. And then with the credits, the child credits, when you do your taxes, I think that's been affected. And naturally the Obamacare, as they say, that is going to be affected. Like when you got to buy your prescriptions and everything, like they had put a cap on the diabetic medications. So instead of people having to pay hundreds of dollars to get your insulin or to get your diabetic pills, because sometimes it come in pills, it was, cut down, but that is going to stop. So it's going to get harder. It's going to get harder. And entities like BG&E, they are not regulated like they should be. And because the federal government, as it stands, don't believe in regulations, we don't have a Food and Drug Administration who's actually going to make sure that they track down where that a disease is coming from that mess with your stomach and give you diarrhea and put you in a hospital, if you're not healthy. But people who have compromised immune systems, older people and everything, they would suffer really bad from supposedly, now this is what they claim. They claim that it's the damn Taco Bell. They done went and blamed Taco Bell for putting lettuce on your taco that has this intestinal disease spreading all across the country. I say, well, Taco Bell must didn't pay somebody. Somebody at the Food and Drug Administration must have trying to grease their palms, but they got Taco Bell out there blaming them for the so-called lettuce. But because they took away the experts, they took away the people who would control what we have on our table. And if something was to go wrong in that system, they had all of these things in place where they could track it down. They could track it down to where they have a recall. You know how they do those recalls? Well, they have those recalls because they could track that stuff down and say, well, if you bought these products from Trader Joe's or Target or Walmart, there's a recall on them. But because these idiots have taken away that system, now we're not even protected with the food that we have on our table. And that is those government agencies and those systems across the board, because they don't really know what they're doing. Their only interest, all of them are inadequate and have zero experience with running these agencies. And this man continued to put these people in position and put them in place. How are you going to hire somebody that bake cookies for a living to run your damn army? And I'm just giving you an example, to run your military. The people don't know nothing. All they know about is damn chocolate chips and milk and eggs. And you want to put them in place to try to deal with people like China and Russia with the espionage. And the people are so cunning that they will try to kill Americans in more ways than you can imagine. It's not just openly, all right, let's shoot at them, let's drop a bomb, let's take something out the sky. No, they kill us by causing us to be divided, causing us to hate each other, causing us to fight each other. And we don't know who the real enemy is. So the misinformation that they put out is killing us, honestly. They are putting information, China and Russia and all these folks are able to put stuff on TikTok that's not true. They're able to put stuff on Facebook that's not true. They're able to put this information out that's not true, and it causes the citizens to not know the truth at all. And once you get so tired, you just say the hell with it. And then you start saying, oh, all of them are the same. All the politicians are the same, so ain't no use in me voting. And that's what they want. They want outside entities to come in and fragment our system as we know it. This thing is going down, man. And if something don't happen fast, this American experience is done. It's done, because the one thing that has separated, man, Miss Gwen says recalls cost lost fortunes. Yeah. That's why they don't want to do them. Yeah. They too busy concerned with feeding us chicken that's got daggone viruses and sicknesses in it. They too busy concerned with getting money. Because if they recall them, and you're absolutely right, if they have to recall thousands and hundreds of thousands of products, then they will lose. But prayerfully, the people will understand that, like it says in the Bible, it is easier for a camel to fit through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to enter into heaven. So hopefully they will get it, that it's better to do the right thing. But who knows? These people think that they can buy their way out of hell. They got so much money that they think that they can proposition God and say, okay, God, I know I've raised hell, I've killed millions of people, but can I give you this in return? No, that ain't gonna work. Anyway, I was saying that the systems that are in place that they have taken out is what have kept us safe. We have been safe because of our government and people at the CDC, the Center for Disease Control. You can't be a Robert Kennedy at the Center for Disease Control and telling people how you done took the balls of a skunk and he did something to them, the balls of a skunk. I say, man, he's still on that shit. When you when you listen to him, it sounds like he's still on that shit. Talking about he had sniffed cocaine off of a toilet and just a whole bunch of ridiculousness. The man is out of his mind. But this is the guy who they have at the Center for Disease Control. And if we don't have the proper people in place, measles will come and take us out. Right now, they have an outbreak of measles in Texas and in different places because people just don't believe in vaccines. And even though vaccines, I still got my little chicken pox. When you I don't know, you can't see it, but when you get those shots, you still had that little thing on your arm. I done got all of my little shots for chicken pox, rubella, and all that because you couldn't go to school at one time, and it might still be the case if you didn't have your vaccinations. And I don't know if vaccinations cause autism. I don't know if vaccinations is responsible for, the only thing that I can clearly say is that vaccinations, from what I've been told and what I've researched, have been responsible for rooting out measles. Like it's gone. Chickenpox is gone. Those different diseases that used to be prevalent, it's gone. And it is believed that because of vaccinations, we were able to stamp that stuff out. But now, measles, highly contagious, is making a comeback. And it is because a lot of people are not, vaccinating their children. And then you have, the Center for Disease Control that's encouraging people not to vaccinate their kids. So we can only pray that we get to a point with our government that people really understand what has kept us safe and what's going to continue to keep us safe in terms of people who want to harm the country. Yeah. Miss Nakai says vaccines work. Yeah. But people who want to harm our country, man, we really need some folks in office that have experience and understand, how these things operate. But because Project 2025 whole agenda is to take all of that away, I personally think, honestly, I don't think that President Trump is going to leave office in 2028. I believe that the bunker and that East Wing, all that stuff he tore down, I believe he's going to have a bunker underground that's going to function and operate just like a regular White House wing. I think that he has the military under Pete Hegseth under his control because that's all he needs is control of the military. And the military will protect him. And the military will keep anybody from coming in or trying to remove him. I believe he has a majority of the police force across the country. I believe that white supremacists have infiltrated the military, the police, all branches of the military. Good morning, Markia. Such a pretty young lady. But I believe that the white supremacists have infiltrated the military and the police department to the point where it is possible that he won't leave office. That's just my belief. So whatever happens, it's up to our Lord and Savior, and we have to learn how to survive and get through these trying times. One way I believe we can get through these trying times, because nothing's going to happen unless it's by permission of God. If God allow it, then what we're going to do? We're going to pray and we're going to ask God for insight on how we can move forward. And I think that's really where we at. When you look at and you study Project 2025, it's happening. We can't deny it. We cannot deny what we see every day is happening in our country. If we want to have a country that's not full of division, if we want to have a country where, people don't have to get along. I don't care who don't like me. As long as you are not trying to bring harm to me, as long as when I'm riding down the road and my tire get flat, I don't have to worry about some idiot trying to harm me because I'm black. As long as I'm protected from those things, who cares who like you? Because we've always, from what I've seen, we've always lived in a country that never really wanted people of color here unless they were slaves, but it had got to a point where the laws that was put in place forced people to tolerate you. So the law said that you cannot discriminate against a person because that individual is a woman, because that individual is older, because that individual is black, Chinese, white, or whatever. So the laws that were put in place put us to a point where people would tolerate us because they didn't want to be seen as breaking the law, end up getting sued, end up in the court system and whatever, right? So now we're back to a point where people no longer have to tolerate you. They will tell you to your face, I don't like you, you so and so and so and so. I wish you and your kids were dead and off the planet. Good morning. My cousin Asita's here. Good morning. But that's where we are now. We are in a place where, some people, I guess they thought, we made it because you're able to live in Owens Mills, because you have this six-figure job, you're in corporate America, you're trading stocks, and you're doing really good. And I guess in some people's minds that was fighting in the 50s and 60s and even further along, I guess, and particularly black folks, I guess they feel like, oh, we made it. We good now. We can get these jobs now. We can move in these spaces. And now we looking and seeing like, nah, you never made it. People tolerated you. They never really cared for you because if they did, then I don't know, then we wouldn't be seeing the kind of stuff we're seeing, because what we see now is stuff that happened 50 or 60 years ago. Do you know how many people have been lynched in the last 2 years? And they're saying it is not a lynching, they saying that it's suicide. They are telling people that a 32-year-old man had the ability to put this rope all the way up here and to pull himself up and to lynch himself. It is happening right now. And the police departments are telling you that there's no foul play here. We're going to close the case. They had a young black woman that had went on a vacation with she was the only black person there. She went on vacation or something with her friends, and the next day she ended up dead in the yard. Nobody knows what happened. The case ended up closing. That's it. So that's happening every day. So to me, that's just an example that people have tolerated individuals because because of certain laws and policies and stuff that were passed. If you want to go to a country club and you wanted to be the only black person there, then they couldn't discriminate against you and say you can't be here. And once you are in there, you might have made a few friends and they might have tolerated you, but they never wanted you there. That's why they fought so hard to keep you from there. But because of the laws, I think it kind of got people thinking, well, we've made it and we can take our foot off the gas. You can never take your foot off the gas of justice, because as long as there are human beings, unfortunately, that don't believe in equality, as long as there are human beings that are being fooled and they are victims themselves, they are being tricked and fooled into believing, look over there, those are your enemies. You don't have a job because of them. You are not able to pay your rent out here in rural America because of them. Your farms out in rural Kentucky is failing because of them. And in fact, it is the rich people that's got them tricked and fooled. They done gave them somebody to hate and dislike and blame for what's happened, and it's a travesty because they are being tricked and fooled as well. You got people that are in West Virginia and they will go into a mine and try to get coal out of the mine, and they end up with black lung, and then they don't even have insurance, health insurance, to help them to overcome, lung cancer and all this stuff, and they still will scapegoat other people when it really is people are telling you, let's get away from coal because it's not healthy. Let's get into renewable energy. No, my daddy went into the mines. I'm going in these mines. There's nothing wrong with it. And people are saying these things that we used to do in the past, we can't do them any longer. But they are fighting tooth and nail against renewable energy and to say that coal should be a dying industry. They continue to try to revive it, revive it, revive it. And it's just so unfortunate because education is just key here. If these people were more educated and understood that these are the reasons why we are in this situation, they could probably better address it. But sometimes some people's hatred is the most important thing that they have. You might not have an outhouse. I mean, you might have an outhouse. You might not have a bathroom, a modern bathroom, but it's more important to you to be able to look down on somebody. I had shared the quote from Lyndon Baines Johnson. I share it often. LBJ said that as long as I can give the white man somebody to look down on, I can pick his pockets and take all his money. He would never know. As long as I can give him somebody to look down on and dislike and hate, I can take everything from him. And that is an observance from LBJ, a Southerner, who know that it's people, unfortunately, that would rather hold on to their hate and discrimination and racism than to actually do something for themselves. You can rob them blind. So we'll pray on that for real. But I want to get to another one of the core goals of Project 2025, and that is reorganizing the civil service. I went through that one. They already talked about the reclassification of those positions so that they can get rid of everybody, fire everybody. The other one was dismantling agencies. It proposes abolishing the Department of Education entirely, which is one of those agencies that they had gotten rid of. And I was hoping that we could get Ashley Esposito to come on. I don't know if she's on here right now. Hoping we could get her and maybe some of the other officials to come and share about how Project 2025 affects education in Baltimore and in Maryland. They have this lady, her name is Linda Mann, or something like that. I think it's Linda Mann. She comes from the Wrestling Federation. She is part of that dynasty that did the WWE. We used to watch wrestling every Saturday. Me, my cousin Asita, my cousin LaFay, all of us, our whole family used to sit every Saturday, and my uncle Larry would smash our bologna sandwiches. We would get in line. He would smash our bologna sandwiches, and we would start crying. Leave our sandwich. And my grandmother would give us a glass of milk, a bologna and cheese sandwich, and all the kids, our whole family would sit around the TV and watch wrestling. Yeah, it's kind of cool though. I enjoyed it. But she is in charge of the Department of Education. She has no experience. The only thing that she is being charged with is dismantling the Department of Education, getting rid of it. And it has such a profound impact on African American communities and education. Number one, the Department of Education was put in place to help fight discrimination. To say that if you have computers and you have all of these things in Baltimore County schools or in white schools, you need to have them in the schools where the black folks are. Oh yeah, my mother loved wrestling. Rest her soul. She Stone Cold Steve Austin was one of her favorites. I bought her a T-shirt that had him on it. But dismantling the Department of Education has a severe effect on Baltimore, on our schools, because one, the school system is one of the major hubs, the major places where we can help get our juveniles out of the street. If they spend 8 hours in school, that's a great portion of the day. By the time they get out of school and by the time they come home and get their homework did, it's damn near 6 or 7 o'clock. It's time for them to eat dinner and go to bed. If they follow, they go into school for 8 hours and get out of school 2:30, 3 o'clock. By the time they get home, it's at least 4 o'clock. Get their homework done, time for dinner, and it's time for bed. They wouldn't have a chance to be out there assaulting Baba. They wouldn't be able to get out there and do those things. But guess what? The administration know that the Department of Education is the one place where you can go and legally fight for fair education. Think about Brown versus the Board of Education. And what came after that? What came after that when they won that case was the Department of Education. Many of these departments in the federal government was created because of black people, because of the former slaves. Look at the history of it. The Department of Justice is in place to help when you find that you got a young kid that's went out with his friends. He ends up dead, and every day they scrubbed his phone. They don't know what happened, but what would happen normally is the Department of Justice would come in and they would do a more extensive and thorough investigation. The girl in Kentucky, Breonna Taylor, the Department of Justice investigated. What's the guy back in the day talking about? Can we all get along? His ass had, had black eyes and shit. Rodney King. They came in and they did an investigation on the Rodney King murder. You understand what I'm saying? So without those federal agencies, then the black man and woman is really in trouble. I mean, really in trouble, because we don't have a friend. Those agencies were put in place so that equity can be applied, so that the laws that came through Supreme Court can be applied. All of those laws and stuff and all those legal battles that Thurgood Marshall was a part of, and Miss Pauline, they called her Paulie. She was from Baltimore. She was a lawyer. I can't think of her last name, but she was pivotal in a few of those cases that Thurgood Marshall had actually won in the court system. And of course, they don't tell you that because we still in a country that don't necessarily like to elevate women, and especially back then. They really, if a woman had contributed something, they would give the credit to a man, and she'd be sitting back and say, "Hey, shit, I did that." But that's how it is. Our society still has a way to go. But dismantling places like the Department of Education will severely affect what goes on here in Baltimore. You have IEPs for children that may have been born from mothers who might have used drugs while they were pregnant, and some of them kids have learning disabilities, and IEPs were put in place for them to get special lies attention to make sure that they are passing and everything. But when the funding is gone, they can't hire people to help those children. They can't. When you're thinking about just a building itself having money to address the lead that's in the water. You go in schools, man, they got all this damn tape around it like a crime happened. Like they got all this caution tape. Don't drink the water. I've never seen so many schools where the children can't even drink out the water fountain. They got to give them a bottled water. They can't even drink out the water fountain because the schools are so old and need to be rebuilt. Everything. They need to be just torn down. But if you don't have money coming from the Department of Education to the state, what in the world can you do? So I really would like for us to look at Project 2025. And if you have any comments, if you've read it or if you're familiar with it, put something in the chat. Drop something in the chat because the Bible says my people perish for lack of knowledge. And we are in a space and time now where we cannot afford not to know. They even in the court system, you can't even go in the court system and say, well, I mistakenly gave a patient, let's say if you're a nurse, let's say if you're a registered nurse, and the patient's supposed to get 1.5 milliliters of a medicine, and you mess around and give them 3.5 milliliters, and that something happens to that person. Not only can you be sued, but you can also be prosecuted for negligence. They can send you to jail because there is a law that clearly states that not knowing is not an excuse. Because they figure you're a nurse and you are supposed to know. Oh, our sister, Dr. Carmen Johnson, says she read the full report with the National Court Watch. She said she read the full report, but God bless you for that, sister. Maybe we'll have you on the next time so we can discuss it more. But there's a law that says that you can't come in the court system when somebody sued you for neglect and when somebody is going to prosecute you for neglect. You can't go in and say, well, I made a mistake and gave her too much medication because I didn't know. They don't give you leniency in a court system because they figure you should have known. You're a nurse, you've gone through school. These are things that you should know. And that's where we are now. You should be penalized for not knowing. If you don't know who your elected official is right now, your council person, mayor, your senator, your delegate, your school board representatives, all of these people that mean something in the lives of your children and who is running things, then you should be penalized. Shame on you. We are not in a place where we can afford to say, well, I don't know. Well, how do you not know? All of these things affect us. All of them. Everything. I'll give you an example of how things can get down to its lowest common denominator and how laws can possibly get changed. And unfortunately, sometimes it takes people to die before things change, and it's sad. They had a 9-year-old boy. He was homeless. Oh, thank you, dear brother. Paulie Mary. I know that's right. Thank you. My man Jerome from the Eastern Shore. I know my main man, no. He up on it for real. That's my guy. But they had a young boy. He was 9 years old, and he was homeless. Him and his family was homeless, and he had a bad tooth in his mouth. They homeless. They don't have, health insurance, and they not really thinking about, I need to get this kid to the dentist. Well, the tooth gotten so bad that the infection had traveled to his brain, and he died. The child died because they had a bad tooth. And what they did here in the state of Maryland, they passed a law, and I forget the name of the law, but now every single child in the state of Maryland is automatically eligible and automatically receive dental insurance so that don't happen again. So it's just to say that the policies and the laws affect us in ways where we can't imagine. You got a sister, the sister suffer from mental illnesses, and you might try to find her. You ain't seen her in a week, and you know that she hang out on Falls Road here in Baltimore, or at the 7-Eleven down in Fells Point, and you find out that people with mental illnesses no longer have automatic entry into homeless shelters. Those are the types of things. Oh wow, I'm so sorry to hear that. Sister says she lost her child, now enacting Tiara's law to ensure families receive crisis resources in the event of medical emergencies such as overdose. I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that. So look that up, guys. Tiara's law. And that's one of the things that I'm trying to get to, is that we have to stay involved. We have to know who our leadership is, and we have to pay attention to this 2025 and look at it, study it, and see how it moves. But most importantly, because we only got a few minutes left, most importantly, what I want us to do is the people who recently got elected here in Maryland, the people who are running for office over there in California, where my dear sister Cheryl Ward is at, Karen Bass. I believe she's running for mayor. I forget who they got running for governor over there in California. But we need to start asking those people, what is your plan? We already know we got a 2025, Project 2025. We've already watched them go from page one to damn near the middle of the page. They're going through it. What is the plan? What is our 2028 plan to get things back on track? I love when I say that because it reminds me of track number 9. To get things back on track, or to create something new, because obviously the system we had in place was breakable. Anytime you have somebody that can come in office and destroy things in the way that he has, then that was a system that wasn't foolproof. How are the new leadership? How is Cory Booker? Because they can't just keep coming talking about Trump this, Trump that. It's really less about the man who eventually his ass is going to be dead and gone. It might be another Trump. It might be another worse Trump. It might be somebody that can be 10 times worse. So how do you put a system in place that is unbreakable, that can really protect people, that can really cause law enforcement to do the job that they were hired to do? They call them heroes, and I think that they are in some way, the people, the firefighters. But, to be honest, and I like being honest, you're doing your job. Why the first responders, we put them on a pedestal, first responders, they this, they that, they doing a job. If you did not want to run into a burning building, you shouldn't have applied. So even if we never acknowledge them, I acknowledge them because it does take a lot of courage to do that. But because we have made these first responders, put them on a pedestal, and our police officers' rights and stuff like that, some of these people feel like they can just do whatever. You can't. You got to stay within the parameters of the law. It's some good officers out here. In Baltimore, I know some really good police officers that genuinely care about the community, the children, and want to see safe environments. And then there, some people who got a whole different idea of what being a police officer is. But we have to have systems that hold everybody accountable. I don't care if you're a judge. I don't care if you are a lawyer. I don't care if you own BG&E. Everybody. Hey, good morning. Love you, Rhonda Hall. Rhonda Hall says Patient Protections and Affordable Care Act, ACA. This is the health care law. Thank you so much. Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. I know that's right. Boy, that's why I tell you better bring a pen. Because not only am I going to ask you to start Googling some things, researching some things, but the people like our sister Rhonda Hall, who works in healthcare, can give you some information that you can Google. My man Clarence Butler, love you, Clarence, that you can Google and actually look up, because we are in a place where we are lacking knowledge. We are allowing these people to send all kinds of lies out there and all kinds of misinformation. In the meantime, they are taking away all of our rights. They are taking away everything that folks work for. Those civil rights marches had white people, black people, Indian people, Asian people, had all kinds of people that was marching for the rights of human beings, not just for black people, just the rights of human beings to just exist and to be human and to live out this human experience is really all people ask for. I don't want to be sitting on my steps and have to worry about somebody running up the street with a gun shooting, and next thing you know, my 4-year-old grandbaby that's sitting next to me gets shot and killed. I don't want to have to ride down the street and get pulled over by some racist police and end up shooting and killing somebody because of their own idiocy. People just want to be human and have this human experience without the bull crap. And I believe we can get to that. I believe we can get on the right track. We just got to know who are the enemies of peace, justice, freedom, and equality. And I don't care who you are, black, white, brown, or whatever. If you are an enemy for peace, justice, freedom, and equality, you don't need to be over here. And they come in all shades, shapes, and sizes. The devil is busy, honey. My grandmother used to call us imps. I thought she'd say, "Sit down, you little damn imp." And I never knew what it was, but guess what? I was reading the Bible one day, and in the Bible, it said that imps are like minions that work on behalf of the devil. So an imp is a person who sometimes don't even realize that the devil is working through you. He comes into your life, into your space, sometimes through your children, through your supervisor, through people that you know, and they don't even realize that, the devil is working in you to try to get to me, because that's how it is. So now I don't want to be no imp, because we used to raise hell in 1200 Riggs Avenue. My grandmother used to be, she used to be sick of us. But I love that she used to say that to us. And I love that one day God revealed to me what an imp is. So again, look it up. Go to the Bible and look up imp, the word and imp, because that is exactly what happens in our lives. The devil will work through people, through things, through your job to get to you. And that's what this system is to me. All of this stuff that's happening is just Satan's way of trying to get through to us, to all of these things. But we're going to work through that. We're going to get to the other side. We're going to stay on the right track. God bless you guys. Look up some of this stuff. And if you found out anything, if you want to share anything with me, hit me up at info@Maryland Justice Project. Info@Maryland Justice Project. I love y'all. And thank you once again for listening to me. And I'm going to get some guests on, because I don't want y'all to get bored of looking at this little cute little brown face. I don't want y'all to get bored. Don't forget my man, Johnny Jones, going to be on the show soon. He's going to be talking about the first Monday's Empowerment. Going to be having an event out the park. Let me look and see. If Johnny, if you're still here, put it in there. I think I had put it here. Here it go right here. It's the 12th annual Freedom Family Cookout. It's going to be August the 22nd, Druid Hill Park at 12 noon. At 12 noon. And the one thing I want to say is that, Sister Ashley says she's looking at the show. Anyway, Kylie, I love you. Look up all the information that I shared with you guys. We are going to be back again. And once that call-in feature is done, y'all don't have to put your comments here. You'll be able to call in. Okay, Brother Johnny Jones say that is correct. Fantastic. And I'm hoping that you'll join us August the 22nd out Druid Hill Park. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful day. Wonderful day. It started 12 noon. Anyway, I love y'all. Y'all put up with me every Saturday, man. I love y'all. Y'all give me that 1 hour. God bless my family. God bless you guys. And I'm still happy to be here and be alive. God is good. Love y'all. Have a good day, guys.
We inspire greatness at track number 9. Stay on the right track and let your light shine. Step by step, reach for what's true. Track number 9, your greatness is waiting for you.